At the starting area for the 2023 Eastern Sprints, we are about to watch the second Varsity 8 Grand Finals, a 6-boat Grand Final event between Harvard in Lane 1, Princeton in Lane 2, Yale in Lane 3, Dartmouth in 4, Syracuse in 5, and Brown in Lane 6. These crews had tremendous heats this morning with some pretty fast times overall. Princeton with the fastest time from this morning's heats for the second varsity 8s with a time of 5:36 and change, followed by Harvard and Brown, both finishing with a time of 5:37 and change. Yale with a time of 5:38, Syracuse with a time of 5:39, and Dartmouth with a time of 5:41. Now for these crews to get into the grand final that we are about to watch, they had to place either first or second in their heats this morning. So some of these crews were really pushed to get into this position, and other crews were able to take it a little bit easier towards the final home stretch of their heats. So keep an eye out for all of these crews, as anybody could take home some medals from this grand final here today. Maybe it's one of the crews that wasn't one of the fastest from their heats this morning. Maybe they were able to take it a little easier. They weren't really challenged to get to this grand final. Or maybe it was one of the crews that had a really fast heat this morning and they are well prepared to put down another fast race this afternoon. So anything can happen here in this second varsity 8 grand final. And especially keep your eye out over in lane 6 for that Brown crew, who also went 5:37 along with Harvard. So that'll be a great fight to come from lane 6 to take home some hardware. And we are about to have a start in this grand final event. And that is a start. 6 boats off for the second varsity 8 grand finals. These crews looking to get some points for their team overall point totals, as well as take home some hardware today. These 6 crews are well underway. Fast starts across the board. These crews are rowing in the upper 40 strokes per minute, mid 40 plus strokes per minute. So real fast stroke rates from all 6 of these crews. And towards the end of this first 500 meters is when we'll see the crews start to lengthen out, bring the rate down a beat or two to something a bit more sustainable for the whole rest of the course. But it does look like the early leader rate now is Harvard by a slim margin over Princeton, because Princeton is starting to charge hard now in this first 500 meters. And just like I said, here comes Brown in lane 6, making a big push now, and I think Brown is about to take over the lead from the whole thing. Yep, it is Brown in the lead by about a deck and gaining over the rest of the field. So big charge coming from Brown out of lane 6. Everybody else within a deck and a seat of each other as we pass this over to Fred on the launch to take you through the middle 1,000.
The JV heavies, Harvard on the inside, and Brown out here in lane 6. Brown has taken a really good start, and I think has got 2 or 3 seats on the pack. Brown wanting to row hard from lane 6. The rest of it, you can throw a blanket over the bows. It's perfect. My God, Princeton, Dartmouth, Syracuse, Yale, all within a seat of one another. Spectacular racing, but Brown is charged out. They're trying to buy some insurance, perhaps. Let's take some rating checks to see what they're doing. 38 for Brown, a comfortable rate. Most crews rowing 40 to the 500 these days. Harvard's now taking a bit of a move. Harvard's got a seat or 2 on Yale and Princeton. Dartmouth about a seat back at Yale. Syracuse, I'd say Syracuse is a seat up on Dartmouth, so that puts Syracuse in 4th. Harvard is sneaking away, though, and sneaky out there in lane 2. Harvard's taking a really good press right here at the 1,000. And I think Brown is not in first anymore. Harvard Let's go. Who can go with Harvard? Princeton and Yale are stroke for stroke. Dartmouth is right there with them. So I'd still say Brown is in second, but the drone may have a better shot than I do. Syracuse and Dartmouth are in that 5-6 slot. But Brown's starting to run out of power, I think, a little bit. Harvard's getting the best of the pack. Harvard is probably 3 or 4 seats up on the pack now. Princeton, Yale, Dartmouth are within 1 seat of one another, and Syracuse is right in there too. Syracuse is, I think, a seat up on Dartmouth. Wow, this is spectacular, but Harvard is really eating up the water now. Harvard is going to be hard to catch. They look comfortable. Let me get their rating. And I'm passing it over to Dave with Harvard in control and second and third up for grabs. Over to you, Dave.
At 500 meters, probably anybody can win it. Harvard currently with the lead. And they've been the aggressor for the last 500 meters, but Princeton is right there. Brown trying to hold on to a medal position. Yale perhaps coming up in the middle of the course. Nobody is out of this one. Anybody who mounts a really good sprint has an option at a medal. It's still Harvard in lane 1, challenged by Brown in lane 6, Princeton in lane 2. Then it's a little bit back to a pack of Syracuse and Yale and Dartmouth. Yale may be running out of steam as Harvard pours on the gas with just 250 meters to go now. It's Harvard opening up a little bit on Brown and Princeton. Syracuse coming from behind. Dartmouth also going with Syracuse. Harvard, perhaps with a defendable lead, they have a third of a length over Brown. Brown has maybe a foot over Princeton, who's got a length on the rest of the field. Looks like it's going to be Harvard too close to call between Princeton and Brown for silver and bronze.